one hot pepper.
Hello and welcome to the commentary track for Park Rangers of Chesapeake Valley. I am Dave Redigard, creator, director, writer, if I could even say that, for Park Rangers.
Hard to tell. I'm Aaron Martin. I played Ranger Rick. I guess I can say partial writer. I mean, there was so much improv.
Yeah, that's why I don't really
it's
ever
hard
claim
to,
a writer.
We always had an outline, though. I mean, there was always an outline written where we had bullet points. We made sure we hit the bullet points, but almost all the dialogue was...
Yeah, but even that was up in the air.
That's true.
So this is the show that has followed us for going on 10 years now, or haunted us, or however you want
to look at it. Maybe both.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, man, casting-wise, though. I just saw Thor Hughes' Big Bass right there. That was just perfect.
Oh, yeah. Don't be an a-hole. So, yeah, this is the show that... You want to talk about independent storytelling. It does not get more independent than this. I think the only thing that we bought were some foam hats. See, talk about that.
My cats.
Working on the fly. It was funny when we made this. We were developing not only what the show was, but what the character was.
Yeah,
so
we had no idea.
We were like, okay, I guess Ranger Rick subscribes to Game Informer.
Yeah. He has cats and he subscribes to Game Informer for some reason. Which doesn't work at all when you think about like how old we put him in the age range later on.
Yeah.
Like it just doesn't work.
Oh, he's got his interest.
This was one of my favorite points in the show. Shut up!
Yeah. Trained dogs.
Yeah. Just my neighbor's dogs at the time. Very trained.
So let's introduce the world to Ranger Rick. How would you explain this gentleman right here?
So basically this is just a very melodramatic, like 39-year-old guy who still is a park ranger, has never moved up in the world, and he takes his job super serious. He's also a divorcee, and is angry at the whole world about his horrible life decisions.
But he's the star of the show here because of a film crew coming to his park. So this is his moment in the sun. And we just happened to stumble upon him in October. Now, it's interesting because what you're seeing here is kind of a combination of the original episode 1 and 2.
Yeah, this is like a blending of the two.
Yeah.
Because back... Sorry.
Yeah, so this was when we had a podcast network, the Broadcast Podcast, and this was our first kind of venture into sketch comedy.
Right.
Because we had the wrestling podcast and the video game podcast. And
were we doing Nerdploitation? Or did that come after? I don't remember.
I think it was right around the same time because we're about to see Ryan and Trent. They were a big part of Nerdploitation too, but we sort of just kind of, I always had this series in mind with Seth MacBride about something around Chesapeake Valley because that was kind of like my little made-up little sandbox. It was supposed to be medieval, like kind of like knights.
Yeah.
There's like no way we're gonna do that at all.
Right.
No horse, no sword, no production,
no armor, no nothing.
So we looked around and we said, well, we have a ton of parks around us, so it turned into Park Rangers of Chesapeake Valley.
Yeah, until we started filming this, I don't even think I understood. We had like 4 or 5 either state or county parks just around us within 20-minute drive was the longest we had to go.
Yep. So that is our environment. So, yeah, and I pitched it to you. I said, we should do something skit-wise, and then told you about this. Yeah,
a skit turned into a series. It was kind of crazy how it all happened.
Yeah. And we were like, who are you going to be? And then you kind of came up with the whole idea of Rick Salem, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Then we got Ryan Stone here.
Yeah, Larry Gaines.
Yep, Larry Gaines is the trainee.
And I remember coming up with names. We just wanted to come up with just like the most generic sounding, like Ranger Rick. Like everybody knows a Ranger Rick, whether it's from like the old like Ranger Rick back in the day or whatever. And I was like, all right, we'll just put Salem behind it because why not? Right. Salem's, it just sounded right. And Larry Gaines. I mean, it's just dude's name was Larry Gaines.
And really, we made this show up as it went on because I recall going to the park for the first time. We didn't have a name for Rick,
No.
and you just came up with it. You just said, "How about Salem?"
Yeah, we
That
were
was
walking.
the first thing you said.
We were walking around.
Yep.
I think we were just walking around. I think this park, just in a different part of it.
Yeah. I said, Rick Salem, there you go. And you had this kind of Arkansas deep South accent.
Yeah, we didn't actually have a state in mind at first.
No.
We just kind of, I think we landed on Arkansas in like episode 3, maybe.
Yeah, and I think I even have tried my best to cut out the word Arkansas just
Sure.
to kind of make it our own little fictional place.
Right.
That's Thor driving off there. But,
Yeah.
so what you're seeing is just literally what we would come up with next. Let's do a driving shot. Let's do this,
Yeah, with it right there, we had the camera sitting on the dash
Yeah.
of this truck, like hoping that it would be steady enough.
Yep.
Because I know we tried to have you in the back seat, like filming this, but you couldn't stop laughing.
Yeah,
long
that was.
enough.
yeah. I can never be on set. I'm notorious from directing from like a half mile away. I got to give you a call and say action, because like I could not hold it together back then. I just thought this character was so funny, and I think even here we made up, let's give him a limp, because if at the beginning, that first scene with the dogs, you didn't have a limp. You just walked right out the door.
Yeah, I walked out the door and like there's a small hint of it,
Yeah.
but that's literally just because I think I like my foot hit a big old rock in the driveway. I think I almost slipped or something like that. But like that's it.
Yep.
And it wasn't until we got to the park that we were like, wouldn't it be funny if he had a limp?
Yep. And this conversation's explaining it right here. The bear claw, and
the bear fang.
Bear fang. Yep.
Got the fang out.
Yeah. A fang is more vicious than a claw too. Sucker got you.
I just like the idea that for some reason, even though bears can maul human beings, somehow its fang broke off in my kneecap.
And you live to tell about it. So, and we're about to be introduced to Thor Hughes as Big Bass, who's probably the most recognizable character besides Rick on the whole show, I would say.
Probably the best character on the show. Just
yeah, and
it's so perfect.
We had this idea for him to be this fisherman, and we went to Goodwill, remember?
Yeah.
And everything was there. The hat, the vest, and the camo pants. It was all there for us.
We got everything there. Like I think like the first 5 episodes or 6 episodes of this show, I think we spent a grand total of $14.
yeah, seriously. Yeah. And now it's down to 4 episodes. It's been recut, and there's tons of deleted scenes and stuff available at Camp Nostalgic, and it's a whole nother hour. It's almost the show. It's almost a different. It's a different show. A whole different plot line.
Don't touch it.
Don't touch them.
You don't like it. Now, you know the thing is about Big Bass too is that we kept that we were following I guess it's a trope, but I didn't really think about it at the time, but he's just that wise old silent character.
Yep.
Which I think it's funny that we call him wise old because he clearly looks younger. than
Leaving his story open was a big deal, and the fact that he never moves and stuff. That just added to the mystique.
Oh man.
Oh, the tower.
I forgot all about this tower.
What I love about this first episode, the first couple episodes this is kind of formed into, was it kind of felt like back in the day when you were a kid just filming with your friends. You just went out to the park and you made it up.
That's literally all we did.
Yeah. And then we worked on character development.
I like how at ground level my hat was blowing off like crazy, but for some reason we get to the top of this ridiculously high tower and it's just staying put. Didn't do anything special either. That actually right there was one of my favorite parts. He threw those glasses from the top of that tower and they landed on that tree hanging just like that. Because I remember we were walking back down after we were done filming at the top. Right here. Right after I said, I put my foot in your ass. We were just talking, and then we stopped at that second level right there, and I looked over. I said, "My God, those glasses are hanging there." I was like, "We should get a shot of those."
Yeah, we had some foresight there too, because I think we even filmed a scene, or maybe that we came back and did that in the final episode. We came back to that spot.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, here we go.
This is why Rick hates Halloween.
Yeah, Rick hates Halloween. He hates hooligans in his park.
Yep, the hooligans is. I love that imagery right there, where it's just I couldn't even be bothered to take it off my truck, just driving around the park.
Yeah. So when you were first kind of going through the character of Rick, what was the personality you were thinking of? Like, he's obviously very troubled. He's bitter. He's
So originally,
short-tempered.
the thought was like I want him to like be troubled and everything, but I also want him to like take his job like super seriously. So I wanted him to be actually somewhat of a responsible human being.
Yeah. Which he is.
Yeah, he's not an irresponsible guy. Like right here, he's just like, all right, we gotta go. Like.
Yep. He's a guy that desperately just needs a career change.
He needed a lot more than a career change.
He needs a new hat.
Well, a career change would have been good for like what really Rick needed was to leave. He needed to be gone from this place. Like basically, he stayed. Oh my! I forgot. I didn't forget about this part. I just because it's been cut together. I forgot it was right now.
This is Trent Parker, Ryan Stone here, and Trent Parker. They were creative partners at the time, and childhood friends of mine.
How y'all doing?
How you doing, sir?
I'm doing good. You?
And they had a group called Thai Studios at the time, and they sort of reconnected with me at this in this era, and we threw them into Park Rangers, and I think this is one of the funniest scenes in this first episode. Just because of the voice Trent decided to use.
He really went kind of Cajun with it.
How you doing there?
Yeah.
You know.
What are you talking about this here?
Yeah. So
What are you talking about?
you see Thor's truck, the only vehicle we used on the whole show.
Yeah. We could only film it from a certain side because he put a Thor decal on one of it, so like it's just Thor with a hammer.
Yeah.
I don't see a big deal. I don't see any difference.
Yeah. So
why can't I fish here? Am I not allowed to fish here? I mean.
yeah, there's really wasn't much to these first two episodes here.
No.
It was all verbal.
Do you remember, like I remember, but I want to see, do you remember what we made the first name tag out of? That name tag that Rick has right now on his chest?
Yes, we delivered papers back then for the commercial news, and we were out late one night, and I think I found a county market badge, right? And
Yeah,
we
you
just
found a county market name tag?
Yeah, painted it gold and snipped it down to shape.
You snipped the corner, so like the county market stuff, you snipped off of it. So you spray painted it gold and just...
And then the hat we found in Dollar General. There was these foam cowboy hats. We're like, let's do it.
We were like, that works. It was a buck a hat. Did you tell him to get his ass up out of here right now?
And then Abe's, not Abe, that's later, but Rick's love for Big Bass.
Just put my hands on it.
This is my favorite part right here as the camera tilts. You can just see her running away. Who knows how far he went.
You know, the thing is, too, right there is, like, that was actually, like, so after the first, because the first one we shot was when they first drove away on that car, right?
Yeah.
And he's, fuck you, Park Rangers. He's like, that right there was for me. I was like, all right, that is 100% Rick's trigger.
Yeah.
You say that is all bets are off. Who knows what he's going to do?
That's all he has left.
Yeah, for real. This job is all Rick has left. Like, we were talking earlier, like, Rick really needed to leave. Like, all of his pain and agony is in this place, and he, like, refuses to leave.
Yeah.
He's just like, what he really needs to do is leave this place, but he can't do it.
It's because he's lost when he clocks out. He just goes home and drinks on top of his Game Informer magazines.
His full fifth of Jaeger.
Yeah, there, character development right there. I'm divorced.
I'm divorced.
Couldn't handle the life of the Ranger.
Life of the Ranger. And that's the whole thing. He romanticized this job he has, which is nothing. Like everybody, like it's not that they don't have an important job. It's just that a lot of them sit, a lot of them sit in a red truck all day, and they'll go around and they'll like what they really do is they like fix signs every now and again, and they make sure that they do drive around and make sure nobody's breaking park rules, but they're not doing a whole heck of a lot.
No. So we had to give them something to deal with.
Right.
And here we are.
He destroyed him right there, dude.
Jesse Snow and myself here. And the old, there we go. Rick takes a tumble. What a first day on the job.
That right there is one of my favorite parts.
The wind-ups.
Yeah, you're just doing the wind-up yours.
So yeah, that's where Larry Gaines found out that the park can be a dangerous job.
Yep.
So.
That's the hooligans.
Yep.
This is where you found out the hooligans exist.
Could you imagine dealing with those?
No.
How do you not murder them?
No, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Like, what do you do? Like, everybody's been in that situation, right?
Yeah.
Like, everybody's been in that situation. Like, what do you do with these punks, like kids or whatever? You can't touch them.
You can't touch them, yeah. Because they're not like, they're not like, hold on a second, hold on.
Important stuff right here.
Speaking of something you can't touch. So I guess, yeah, a little movement from Big Bass there. Big Bass.
Big Mass.
Yep, so usually it's usually the bikers pulling up or something, or doing circles around you,
Right.
the intimidating bikers. But here we have the hooligans, and now we're into episode 2 here. Getting to see how Rick gets to work in the morning.
Yeah, this is his motivational wake up. Just sit here and.
Yep.
The hell?
Hope the camera's
Noticing
not on.
a camera. Thank God it's not on.
Yep. The whole mockumentary idea.
Yep.
There I am, cameo. I had a much bigger part in this whole thing too. I mean,
Yeah.
There's a whole original cut to this.
Jesus, it's you guys.
Come on in.
Oh, it's you guys. Come on in.
Last night, gonna go get ready for work.
Right there, that line that we can. I forgot about this. I like looking back at like nervously looking back at the camera, like
With liberty and flexible park hours.
liberty and flexible park hours for all.
So we released that first episode and it got some pretty good feedback.
It actually got really good feedback. It got a good amount of traction too for like, because to be honest, we didn't expect anything, right?
No,
this was just something we were doing for us that we thought would be fun, and then we were
Yeah.
like, we'll share it with people because we enjoyed doing it. So why not share it with people?
Yeah.
And then it kind of took off for a minute. Like this was a little later on, but yeah, that first episode got a lot more traction than I thought.
Yeah, because we were just doing pop culture podcasting.
Basically.
Reviews and throwback podcasts, and yeah, this is our first attempt at something little comedy wise, and yeah, we could talk about how we got this thing on the radio and local TV, and
Yeah, a lot happened with that I didn't expect any of that.
no. And here we go. Here's some more characters. There's Summer Davis,
Yeah, Summer Davis,
played by Gella Rediger, and Jesse Snow.
which he did play one of the hooligans, but he also Dale Miller.
Dale Miller, that son of a bitch, Dale Miller. And my God, Jesse did such a great job as like the thorn in your side.
Yeah, he really did. Like especially like later on when he really got a hold of the Dale character, he really took off with it.
Yeah, and then Agella as a Summer. There's a whole story. Talk about like the whole building of this series was. It was supposed to be centered around Summer.
It was
right?
predicated upon Summer Davis. Like that was the whole thing. It was supposed to be about her. Rick was supposed to be a background character. There was that creepy look.
Yeah.
I had no idea what she was saying during that interview. That's one of my favorite spots because I didn't know what she was saying. She just like right when she said, "Yeah, he's been giving me this really creepy look." I turned my head at the perfect time.
Yeah. Well, like you said, it wasn't even supposed to really be centered around you. You were literally supposed to be like one scene an episode, come in, do something,
Nothing.
say something.
It was supposed to be just something where it was just I say something that was either off color or just like something that was just it made no sense at all, but it was supposed to be somewhat related to park rangering.
Yep.
And the whole thing was supposed to be about Summer Davis.
and it all sort of fell apart on that final hour. I think it was a day
The
or
night
two.
before.
Yeah, the night before.
The night before we started filming, the person we had lined up to play Summer Davis, she just sent us a message that said, I can't.
I can't.
Something about she's like, I started a new job.
Yeah.
And I just won't have the time.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
we had to change the whole concept of the show.
Yeah, and then Gela volunteered, and we all said, you are 8 months pregnant,
Yeah.
right? It's like, so, and she's like, yeah, that might be funny, though. And I'm like, yeah, that is actually pretty funny. Nobody thought about, doing the show while she gives birth.
Right, no,
So-
that never entered our mind.
So
Like,
we'll see what that looks like.
right, it was a whole,
Soon.
and that was really
Yeah.
on the cusp.
Like everything was, yeah.
Yeah, he's at the barrel, and I need to get back to him, so...
Yeah, the whole barrel plot line, too.
Because that was another... We were supposed to have another character named Daryl.
Daryl and his friend. Oh, yeah, no, Daryl is the friend.
Daryl
yeah.
is the friend.
Dale and Daryl. Yep. These were great, too. I cut out this whole bit about Dave Chappelle and this whole...
Oh, yeah, I like that David Chappelle.
Yep. So the cast is starting to build here a little bit. We were feeling pretty good about the series. Look, we got Ryan a green shirt and green pants.
Yeah. I like how, like, as much as I enjoy my job, like, I fling it off the second I get to my house.
Yeah. Oh. Okay, so so Rick is like madly in love with Summer Davis.
Yeah, that's one of the main plot points is that he has a real big crush on her.
Yeah, and apparently he's clueless. He doesn't know that she's pregnant. He thinks she's just fat.
Yeah, he makes a whole speech about it.
It's like, hey, big girls are big girls, I kind of like that thing.
Like,
And
I like it.
like, good for you, Rick, but she is pregnant.
Everybody knows but me.
Yep.
And right here, he's just like, yeah, they told me not to tell him. That limp gets more pronounced like as the show goes on.
So you just saw the hospital. That's in Danville, Illinois, and that was because we were at the hospital. We were out filming Park Rangers, and we had a little baby scare that day.
Yeah.
The baby might be coming. So we all backed up and went to the hospital.
Yeah.
And I was in there with Gela, and you guys were out in the lobby
We're out in the lobby filming.
Guerrilla style filming in the hospital. So that's what happens when you cast an 8-month pregnant woman, and then have to deal with the consequences of the actual labor during production. So none of us thought about that, but
No, but we did. I mean, we thought it would be an interesting concept,
Yeah.
and it ended up being very interesting.
absolutely.
How everything that happened here.
Yeah.
Um,
It was like put up or shut up when the labor actually happened too, because
Right.
we'll see here in a few, but yep. So yeah, Rick has this obsession with Summer, but he also has this kind of resentment towards her because he knows that she's going to get that job that he wants,
right, the lieutenant job.
and there's nothing he can do about it, and it's slipping away from him. So
Yeah, it's like the last thing he had was like, all right, I'm gonna get lieutenant, but then like Summer's clearly better at her job than he is, like by a lot.
yeah. And this speech here that Ryan's giving is probably what Ryan was actually thinking.
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm doing here.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a
Like,
lot
I
of.
honestly don't know what I'm doing here, and
I think Ryan's exit out of the show was Ryan's exit out of our group. Really, it kind of feels
100%.
like a farewell thing, goodbye for now type of thing.
I also like how right here we made the decision that Dale would for some reason drive a van and not a truck.
Yep, because that's the car I had.
I got super mad. I'm getting out of the car. Like, I'm gonna.
Here we go. Here's the barrel. And there's the hooligans. But Jesse's almost wearing the same shirt, but he's not.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is when Rick finds out that the other Rangers, some of the Rangers on the staff, get together and have a sort of a, I don't know, what would you call it, like an underground bashing of him? Or?
Right. Yeah. Like, there's just they hate Rick so much that they make fun of him in their spare time.
Yeah, and they have hate Rick parties and. Yep.
Just because, and I always viewed that as more of a like everybody hates their boss, and that's what Rick acts like, and so like it's extra annoying to them that he's not their boss, like decidedly,
Yeah.
but he always acts like it.
because he has no power about what's happening right
No,
now.
he has nothing.
I mean, he could go nuts, but
Well, yeah, but you run that risk, I guess. I guess it was
a
worth
lot
the
of
risk.
options being weighed right here.
Yeah, I guess it was worth the risk.
Yeah.
I can't remember. Was the Rick Pumpkin on the table at this time?
Oh, probably was. We just hadn't put it in an episode yet. Here we go.
Super angry.
And Rick pours his heart out.
Yep.
So we all lived in like the Danville, Westville area, and
Yeah.
Forest Glen was our park of choice. So that's the road we're on right now, is back and forth from Westville to
Yeah, we're
Forest
driving
Glen.
out. We're driving back out to the park, and this was
Yeah.
just a.
Yeah, because people around here, the first thing anybody likes to say, they like to point out all the places they've been, in the video. Like, oh, that's Forest Glen, that's Kennecott.
Right.
So, just to set the record straight, Forest Glen was Chesapeake Valley.
Yeah, that's. I mean, we did film some in Kennecott and
Yeah, Kickapoo.
and Kickapoo and whatnot, but it was mostly filmed in Forest Glen. That was.
Yeah. Now, I do think like Rick changed over the course of these 4 episodes too.
Oh, immensely.
Yeah.
The character growth was there, and it was and that's the thing. It was supposed to be there for all the characters. Like that's the whole point. But we dealt with so much turmoil.
Yeah. We started the series just making it up as we go, and then as the series went, we started making things up because of things changing on us, like
Right.
things leaving us and cast members switching. You're about to see in the next episode one of the greatest additions to Park Rangers that pretty much I think saved the whole narrative of the show.
Oh, probably. I mean,
The introduction of Abe.
Yeah, the introduction of Abe was huge,
Yeah.
and we'll get into that. Once the episode actually comes through.
Yeah.
But this was actually a really fun deal for me. This thing right here with Thor, doing this scene, because it took us so many attempts to do this scene. Because like the whole point, like I said earlier, the whole trope thing was supposed to be he was supposed to have some wise thing to say. And for a good long while, he could not figure it out. So we had so many takes where he'd be like, fuck!
And I even think what we got on video wasn't really even cohesive
No.
either. It was
No.
a pebble thrown into the water.
It'll smooth out a little while.
Here we go.
Oh yeah, this is where he gets it all out.
Yeah. Looking at the camera and all that. The camera's like right there in your face.
Well, that was something I did as a choice too with him, is that I kept looking at the cameras because he's
Yeah.
clearly not comfortable, but he's also one of those people who's not gonna hide it.
Mm-hmm.
So he's gonna just get it out there, but he's just oh man.
Oh, here we are. Here's the first glimpses of Monica and Morgan, my daughters. This was December 23rd. I mean,
Yep.
This is right before Christmas. And there Ryan is again. And
Well, and this is
hey, you got to see
so,
the birth of my kids.
Man, we filmed that after I remember I was in that waiting room
Yeah.
all night, and we had delivered papers.
Yes.
Or tried to,
Yep.
I think I went out and I was gone for maybe an hour and a half, which is way less than I normally am gone.
Just flinging them out the door.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what we did. Both of us did. We worked at
Yeah, look at you see the purple under my eyes. I
Oh,
had
yeah.
not slept for so long.
So yeah, we're all just hanging out at the hospital while Gail is in labor.
But right here is Ryan's exit.
Yes. What he says on camera is literally how we all kind of went our separate ways in real life.
You know what's
Him and Trent.
crazy is just thinking about that there was a whole cycle here.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's literally
That is
leaving
literally.
the
That is
hospital.
literally. I'm like, Dad filmed this. It was such a tight spot too, because it's such a beautiful moment.
Yeah.
It's the birth of my children, but we're like, oh, we're doing this thing called Park Rangers.
He's got a smartphone. Another fish in the pond. I loved that little addition right there. Oh, those babies.
Yep. Oh.
I forgot about this.
Let it go.
I forgot about that. So this is just a prime example of the idiocy that we thought would be funny at the time, and we put it on camera. And there's so much of this. Look at the little smile at the end of this. All right. Right back into character.
And we're into episode 3. So.
Oh man! All right, so this episode, like we alluded to before, like this introduces one of the best characters in the show for sure.
Which I had no idea was going to actually happen that way, because I'd never met Steven.
Well, and we can talk about that for a second, because you came to me and you said, you know, is there anybody that you know personally who would be able to just go back and forth with Rick? And I was like, yeah. I was like, we can bring in my cousin, because this is the way we used to talk just at home, being, you know, just being kids and whatnot.
Yep.
And this was also, we finally started to feature Jesse as Dale,
yes.
like as an actual full character, and he did a pretty good job.
Yeah, because Ryan and Trent exited the show after that episode.
Yeah,
and,
both of them.
Yep. So we gave Dale, and we're about to see Abe a bigger role. Man, I miss Jesse.
Me too.
He was great in this series and this episode. And we kind of gave him the shithead role.
Yeah,
like
and he does it well right here.
Yeah. Yep, sure did. Digging in on everybody's emotions here.
Yeah, he really put the screws to people.
There's the baby. Maybe a few weeks old.
Yeah, maybe.
Yep. I just loved how cold Jesse's personality was in this. It was just so
which he is just not that person.
No, he wasn't. And but that's what made it so great. When you get somebody that's not like that, just make them say the worst shit.
He's just like, now I gotta be out here. So like, you gotta think about it, like right there, that intro, he found my essential suicide note. And he was just like, now I gotta spend all day in the freezing cold looking for Rick's dumbass.
yeah. And that was a leap too. Like, not only like were we like on the ropes about the cast too, we had to go double into like this kind of like shock scenario.
So, but this like, so if you know, to give some real background information, like I used Rick as such a portal to air out the things that I was personally going through.
Yeah.
And so like we had real conversations, like when we started to think about like some of these bullet points, like was it okay for us to go there?
Yeah.
And I mean, I know that it can be a little shocking for some, but
this could very well be not funny at all, but it's just how hilarious.
Yeah, it just, well, I mean, right here, like to put real backstory, like it took me 25 minutes to climb that cliff face.
Oh,
like to get up.
You know there were more people out there too, just hearing you scream your
I'm
guts
screaming
out.
My guts out about how I'm gonna jump.
Yep.
And we're at a public park. This is not a private thing. We didn't get like this wasn't like a roped off thing, and there was no warnings. Like if you hear somebody screaming something, like don't worry about it because we're filming. Like this was just me standing on the top of a screen. I'm gonna jump.
I'm tired of your shit. I'm gonna jump.
I swear to God, I'll jump.
And there he is, the introduction of Stephen Strain. Yep. As Abe, and this is the first time like I heard that voice and everything. Because when you said, "Yeah, my cousin can do it," I'm like, okay, here we go. You know, what's this going to be about? And I had no idea the genius.
Well,
the
and he came
genius.
up, and you hadn't even heard the voice until that point. He just, boy,
Bob, what in the hell are you doing? And like it's so funny because like Abe is crazier than Rick,
like by a lot. And that's the beauty part about introducing Abe, is that you think Rick's like off the wall, and then you meet this dude.
Yep, and we would have never seen him if Ryan and Trent didn't exit. But like, could you imagine everybody together? That would have been insane. All these personalities. So he's trying to talk you off the cliff now by calling you son of a bitch.
Right, Abe's yelling at me profanities and things like that, and every time Dale talks, you shut the fuck up.
Look how purple you are here.
Well, because we filmed that after we came down. Like this is like I had already been outside No coat or anything. Well, the thing is too is that like you can see I'm not shaking. I don't feel cold as like other people do. So like I you can see it. You can see that my body's cold because I turn purple and stuff like that. But like me, I don't feel it. Like so when I'm doing that interview, I'm like, save my life.
Here's you really put it all into this one.
So this is actually one of my favorite stories to tell because right here we tried so hard to not like to get that to where it was like. You know, like a stage punch, right? Where I don't actually make contact. But he kept flinching.
Turning his head, yeah.
And like right, that last one, this one right here, I told him.
Yeah.
I said, don't worry about it. I'm just going to walk up to you. I want you to see what it looks like when I walk up to you. And I fucking blasted him.
And he went down, yeah. And he's supposed to be up here. That's that little snowdrift on the toolbox there.
Yeah.
Is blocking it, but he's supposed to be in the road.
Yeah, he's actually in the road right now. He's supposed to be like chasing after us because like we're his ride home. Like,
yeah. And this is the most ridiculous conversation ever recorded. So apparently Abe was he was a ranger back in the day, and Rick looked up to Abe, and Abe went on a drug binge. But he claims that it was a hunting trip to go after the bear that bit Rick.
Right, that bit me.
Yeah. But no, he was out there on those psychedelics or something.
Right.
I don't know what he's doing.
And at one point, he really goes into like he really dove into that. Like later in an interview, I think he talks about like a medicine man done fed him fish and berries and.
Yep, that's in the deleted scenes. Yeah.
Oh, is it?
Fuzzies, yeah.
He really leaned into this character. Like, look, I thought he could do it. Yeah. I did not know he was going to lean this far into it. Like, I didn't think he would have that level of dedication, but he really leaned into it.
Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's
Talk about leaning into it.
That's another thing. Jesse destroyed him on that.
Yeah, he did. I don't think Jesse knew his own strength.
No. No, he ran full blast into it. Because that part where like you see like Ryan, he's like on the ground rolling, like he was in legit pain because his like whole stomach got destroyed against the truck.
Yeah. Threw up against the light, I think, right in the corner of the truck.
Yeah.
Man.
So this is what we were talking about earlier. How do you deal with hooligans? We're about to find out.
When you're out here in the middle of nowhere, you gotta watch out because Abe's packing some stuff in that bag. So
yeah, there's a lot in that bag.
You're really walking around with a bunch of weapons.
Yeah. I like how that you guys are just pushing swings.
Pushing swings, being jackasses.
Yeah.
Breaking the damn swings.
See that's a hitch. That's a truck hitch. He pulled a truck hitch out of that bag. He's like, that's a bit. He said, this is a bit cumbersome with that limp of yours. Here you go.
Here you go.
I'm like, is that tie around? He's like, that's a hooligan beater.
So there was a huge shift in Rick's sort of demeanor. Like he went from being like annoyed but really like respecting the job to absolute outlaw.
Yeah, he went crazy. And by the way, the hat.
And the hat,
like,
yeah.
We got an actual hat.
Yeah. Yep. So we were rocking and rolling around this time.
Yep.
And it all went in order too. It's like it just snowed. So like now we're in the snowy months. We were just going out every weekend and getting what we could get.
Yep. Well, and then the weather was so crazy. Like there, you'll see like it's all snowy on the ground, and then like the next weekend, I think it all melted.
Yeah.
So it was still winter. It was still cold out.
Yeah.
But like the snow was gone.
Oh yeah.
This is Rick sneaking up on someone.
These damn hooligans. Oh, got me around the knee.
Yep, hit him in the knee.
Boom, right there.
I just hit him like 4 or 5 times with the tire iron.
And that's all the court needs right there.
And right now I'm choking him. I hit him again.
That'll do it.
Right here, he's like, no time to waste. That was also one of my favorite. These little lines.
Yeah.
Like, they're always, ain't got no time to waste. Car done drove by.
You know, when I said that, like when you guys were in the car together, that was the dumbest conversation ever is about to happen when you guys are trying
in the house?
No, when you try to drive away on the ice.
Oh, yeah.
The house is funny, too.
The house is probably the most ridiculous thing
Yeah.
I've ever heard. This is hilarious. You ain't limping driving.
Yeah. Put that foot on the pedal and go.
But it's pure ice on the road.
it was,
So
yeah.
like I'm trying not to. We have to try to make this look as like fast
Yeah.
as we can go, but like also like we had no weight in the back of that truck, so it would have fishtailed like crazy if I really would have spun out.
We're the only ones out here.
Yeah, there's no one else at the park right now. Nobody else was dumb enough to go out there. It was like 22 degrees, but like with wind chill, it was in the like 5 or something like that.
Brutal.
Like,
Yeah. And this is when you figured out you went too far. Now you gotta make the decision: do I go into hiding? Do I turn myself in?
yeah, what do
go
I
to
do?
jail?
Because I just beat people with a tire iron, like
on video.
right on video, like. So,
We're getting the cover-up plan on video too.
yeah. Not to mention, like, it's not like the camera crews don't find me. Like, so
Yeah.
if they can, surely the cops can.
I don't think we thought that one through.
100% we didn't. But it was supposed to be ridiculous.
Yeah, they
Like,
didn't
it
press
was-
charges. Is that beyond pressing charges? You know, like.
I don't know. Like, what do you do? I mean,
Yeah.
I guess if you show up to the hospital,
And
because
they say-
clearly they would have needed hospital attention, or at least
Yeah.
the one guy, right?
And if they say don't worry about it, you know.
Yeah, like I mean, well, it just
It's
depends
still
on what they
attempted
say.
murder.
Yeah, I mean, it could be.
You know.
These are all things we're just now considering. We didn't consider back then.
Yeah.
What a crazy time this was.
I tell you, it's not much to look at because we're listening or watching it on mute, but like the dialogue is everything.
Oh,
It's just
for
nonstop
sure.
dialogue.
For sure. And we're constantly talking. Like, every scene, there's somebody talking about something, and this
Yeah.
is just pulling into my driveway as fast as we can.
Here we go, just the ridiculousness of just Abe.
By
Abe
the way,
is a
we never
ridiculous
addressed
character.
this, by the way. We just pulled in,
Yeah.
and like, so in this time of me getting ready, Abe has shaved his face.
yeah.
Like, he has made himself 100% at home.
Got a beer and got a sleeve of crackers.
Got a sleeve of crackers, and I was just like, he's got a knife and an egg carton.
So yeah, so this guy, he rolls back into town after a real long drug binge in the mountains. He talks you into attempted murder, and now he's going to watch your house as you go hide.
Right. And I'm trying as hard as I can.
Well, the joke always was, too, that Rick didn't really have anything but his
Right.
his uniform. So, like, when he was off work, he kind of looked awkward. You know?
Oh, yeah.
We'll see that in the final episode with the shirt that's way too small.
Right.
But it's like, the joke was, like, he hadn't bought a shirt for himself in, like, 10 years.
Right. Well, that's the thing. The whole thing was that the job was literally all he had. Like, so, like, the divorce ruined his life. Like, he was not ready to handle that.
Yeah.
So, like, he stopped doing anything as far as self-care and everything.
Well, and also, I didn't think about this till now. This is probably the place he got after the divorce.
Yeah.
You think about it, this little apartment. Oh, my. There was not a carton of eggs with a knife through it.
Well, all here when I got here.
This is just Thor having some fun here.
Yeah, Thor's in the truck right here, and this was him he just wanted to see what his truck could do in the snow, so he started doing burnouts.
Of course, you can hear me laughing my ass off
Yeah, and
throughout
then
this whole series. But
Well, then there's me, like, I'm just, I'm trying to keep, like, trying not to laugh, so I just decided to scream. So I'm like, damn it, Abe, that's my truck!
best shot of the series, because it wasn't ours. Here we go.
Yeah,
Aftermath.
that's the, I like how we said 5 days later, and he's still got this big old bruise. He's laughing because he sees where I'm sleeping.
And the reason why I found that stock footage too, because look at the ground. It's almost spring here.
Right.
Had to do something.
Right. But again, like, it was still pretty cold outside. That was my point. Like,
He kicked you so hard.
he had steel-toed boots on too. Like, this was revenge for something, and I don't remember what.
Had
But
his work boots on.
He told me that later. He goes. By the way, I kicked you so hard because you did X to me earlier. I can't remember what he did, but he kicked me so hard in the ribs with right here. Dude, it hurts so much.
That's what makes this whole series special too. Everybody here was so close to you. I guess your best friend, Thor's
Right.
your best friend. You got your cousin. Or,
Yeah. Well, that just ended up being that way because originally it wasn't like that at all.
yeah.
Like Thor was just perfect for big bass. I love that jacket.
Still have that jacket?
That one?
Yeah.
No, that one's gone. But it's that jacket. A friend of mine bought me that, and it was just like I don't even remember the brand, but it was one of those like urban hipster brands, and I was like, I wouldn't wear this. But he
Yeah.
was super proud of the jacket, so I wore it. And I just thought it was funny because like
Yeah.
you have platinum food.
I love this too. This talking head right here, and you're in the room.
I'm right there, like I can't hear what he's saying.
Yeah. Man, he really did shine here. This is the best work I've ever seen Jesse do. This is Dale Miller. There was so much like so many levels of Rick's frustration.
Oh, yeah.
Just everybody frustrated him. He hated training. He hated to train
Larry.
Then Dale and him hated each other.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, right here, I don't remember if it's right here, but like Dale says some real stuff right here. He's like, how can I be excited to come to work if like I have to deal with this bullshit every time I come to work?
Yep.
And like I just completely blew right past it, like he didn't say anything of note.
Maybe you're part of the problem.
Right.
You're like, no, the problem is.
Clearly you.
I will say we did pretty good for just continuing to keep it going, pulling with the punches, We're going with the punches.
Yeah, there was a lot we had to go through. I mean, like the changing of the seasons was a big issue because we would have so long in between filming sometimes, just trying to get everybody's schedules aligned.
Yeah. I think in the final episode, right there, I think there was months.
Yeah.
From that shot to that shot, there was months.
There was a long time in between those two shots.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, you have a completely different haircut there. And,
Yeah.
This is really talk about like having to roll with the punches, because this is really when we started making stuff up as we had to go, because you didn't live here anymore.
No, we moved. Yeah, we had moved. Like
Yeah.
that's legitimately my mail in the mailbox.
Yep.
So like I was like, okay, some of my mail's still here.
I'm telling you, everything changed on us. So we just made it part of the story, and hopefully.
Yeah, that's literally me. We're literally walking around a house that like I don't live in anymore.
Completely empty.
And it's like, now luckily, like, I did know the owner of the house, so, like, it was empty. We weren't encroaching on anybody's, like,
But your
stuff.
line right here, that wasn't your stuff. So
No.
when you say, whose shit is this?
Yeah. Because legitimately not mine. Like, what? And I'm just going through it, because, again, like, I know the owner. Like, it's not like we didn't have permission to do this, but it was just, like, legitimately going through his stuff, like...
Well, every video maker knows, we got to go back and do that one shot and all this stuff. So, like, our situation was like, oh, we forgot to, like, have you come back home, but you don't live there anymore.
Right.
This is a great shot.
Yeah, and this is like the one thing that Rick never forgets is bass, and, like, right here, he neglected him.
Thor will do just about anything.
Yeah, he really will. I mean, like, whatever the shot requires, he's going to do whatever he needs to do to make it happen. That'll BAPN presents.
BAPM presents, it's really... I mean, One Hot Pepper, the tag at the beginning, that was something we created, when we were going to take the show in further, but it just ran its course, I think.
Yeah, well, I mean, the One Hot Pepper 2 was when we were doing a production.
Yeah.
Because we were doing the hockey stuff at the time, too.
Yep.
So it was just supposed to be a production name.
It was an honor of this show.
It was an honor. One of the lines, I say it about summer. That's One Hot Pepper.
Yep. And we never redid an intro. Like, we didn't add Jesse and add Steven, I don't think, unless it just popped up there. I don't know. But,
I don't think we did.
No, we never really did. And I love that too, pulling out all the rappers and stuff. We just wanted Dale to be a slob, and
which was legitimately his McDonald's that he brought to like
Look at that phone. That dates the series.
I still
here's a
have
little,
that phone.
little Easter egg here. That's Jay from Camp Nostalgic right there.
Yeah.
With the girls.
With the girls.
Yeah. There's Gela. Months and months. There we go. Months after that. Yeah, this was I would say like 8 months after the rest of this series. We took a long break and
Yeah.
came back to do this Goodbye Chesapeake episode. And,
Yeah, we did. This was the goodbye.
yeah.
When we actually like finally decided like it was done.
Yeah.
Because we had a couple of plans in the works to try to bring it back and to try to do this and that and the other, and it just didn't work.
Yep. Yep. We tried growing the cast too. We did some radio appearances. Tried to bring in some new people.
Oh yeah. We had a couple radio appearances, and those guys really enjoyed it. Or
Yeah.
at least seemed to.
That was some good radio.
We were on there for 3 times, I think.
Yeah, we did a whole Ranger off thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's all on Camp Nostalgic as well. The whole saga leading up to it. This is great. Dale trying to pick up Summer.
He said, "All right, whatever, later."
Yeah, and then right here, a little. If you're listening to the actual audio, like the car does not sound good because it's in neutral.
Yeah.
He revved out of there in neutral.
He revved out in neutral. Yeah. Oh man, it's Miller time.
It's Miller time. It's sad that this was the last episode because this was like Dale's best episode.
Yeah.
I kind of wonder where we would have went, if we kept going.
I don't know. See, that's the thing. I mean, it would have been. Who knows what we would have actually been trying to deal with?
Yeah.
Well, in Summer, this is also Summer's best episode, in my opinion. I mean, she really came into her own.
Finally got the job.
Yeah, she got the lieutenant job, and the whole point from this point was that she was supposed to become chief at some point.
Yep.
Like when he retired.
And I think we were talking about like Rick coming back for revenge or starting his own camp or his own park or something.
Yeah,
like
the whole thing was he was gonna still ranger in the park, but under his own company. I think
his
is
own
what it was.
jurisdiction.
Yeah.
Yeah. The sad bass.
Yep, the beardless bass.
that was a thing too. We always did like those car shots where you'd like swerving and stuff. Like, I just always thought that was funny. These terrible drivers. Bird shit on the window.
Yeah. But that kind of goes with who Dale is, though.
Yeah.
Like it really fits because he's not gonna take the time to clean that off.
No.
Yeah, you can't even take the time to brush his hair. Like, let alone.
So Dale was happy that Rick's gone.
Oh yeah, 100% happy. He super excited about the fact. And right here you can tell, like, so right here he's checking in with Summer.
Yeah.
And like means like so like everything else, Rick just kind of took care of it himself. Like you could tell that just she clearly runs a better ship.
Yeah.
Than he ever could. Like
well, the layer of just obliviousness was like Rick thought he was in charge and he never was.
Yeah.
But Dale's like, if I could get Rick out of the way, I'm in charge.
Right.
And Summer always knew, no, there's only one person in charge.
The way he says this right here was like I said, so cold. He's like, Rick's gone, right? And you're gonna have to deal with me now.
Bass without a beard.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a lot towards the end of this. Like if you go look at the deleted scenes, there's an hour of deleted footage, and there's almost a whole nother narrative to Park Rangers. And like Bass has a son, Rick has a son. There's a daughter, I think, of Bass somewhere, or a cousin. It became so like it was too much for me, too much for my senses, and I had to cut it down. It was like it reminded me of like the ending of Roseanne, where everybody's like married to someone else, and you're like, oh, this is too much.
Yeah, it became too much.
And which I loved. I loved your cousin Jerry's performance as Lil Bobber.
Lil Bobber, yeah.
But it was just too much for the guy that never moves. Now he has a son. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, it became too much.
There's me. Always trying to hide my face. Here we go. Here's a new house.
Oh yeah, Chris. I
Yep.
forgot Chris.
Roach.
He was a roommate of mine
Yep.
at the time, and we found that old camera.
Yep.
We had that camera up there that wasn't plugged in that we literally just had because there was not a great neighborhood.
So yeah, I can't stress it enough. Like what you see is what really went on in our lives too. Like Aaron moved from that house to this house.
Right.
And this was I think just a couple weeks before. You guys haven't even moved all your
We
stuff
had not
in.
even gotten everything unpacked.
Mm-hmm. Yep. That wall we've used for the Broadcast podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah. And look, I mean, look how different Steven looks.
Yeah. Completely. Well, I mean, he had gone through some stuff. Like he had been, he had a legit like issue with with drugs, and it completely changed his look.
Yep.
And
oh yeah.
So
he had to drop like 50 pounds.
yeah, he dropped a lot. Like
Yeah.
it was crazy. The transformation in between, just to show you too how far in between filming we had sometimes too.
Yep. And your weight fluctuated as well.
A lot. Yeah.
It still was funny. This is really hilarious.
The crazy thing is when we shot this, it was a continuous shot. It's edited and cut up here, but it was a continuous, what was it, like a 30-something minute shot just straight through. And we went down into the basement.
Oh, yeah. Talk about plots that never happened.
Yeah.
He was supposed to be like housing whores or something
Yeah.
in the basement.
No. What did he put it as? A certified money-making situation.
His horatorium.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
You're supposed to be like a
bad
taxi driver, an Uber driver,
Uber driver or
something.
something, yeah, and he's got that jacket on. I don't think I have a shirt underneath it either.
Maybe not. That's my favorite.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah,
have
you
it.
don't have a shirt on.
I forgot about that part.
Oh,
I was like,
man.
why do I remember me not having a shirt on under there?
Did we film the blind date in the same day? Like,
Probably. I only have one character. That's a pervert.
this is me coming back to work
Yep.
after being away from on the run for months. I come back to work.
You had a point though. Like she had maternity leave.
Yeah. Forgot about that. Like, you were on maternity leave, and she's like, that's different. I'm like, it is not.
It's not.
I was away from my personal health.
Yep.
This was a good send-off, though, I think. Like, the way this all worked out.
Yeah, in our kind of way, meaning there's no happy ending.
Yeah.
It's just life.
Yeah, it just is what it is.
It's just life. Those are my kind of favorite endings,
Like, this works out exactly the way it would work out in real life. Like, this delusional man walks back, and he's like, all right, I need to go back to this. Like, now that all this craziness is over, I can go back to the way things were. And, like, clearly you can.
Nope, you can't. You're fired. Yep.
Yeah, you're fired, and, like...
You were fired months ago.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You have a whole different house now that you didn't do. Like...
Yep.
Because that's another thing of the plot line. It's like we had moved, but, like, in the plot, like, Abe did that. He sold my other house.
Yep.
And completely...
Some sort of money, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
He's like, I upgraded you, or whatever he says.
It's an upgrade.
There's a interview that we do here pretty soon. Like, I don't know if it got edited out. But the last, like, face-to-face interview was really real for me, because I was like, I don't know what's going to happen there. Because, like, I knew
It was real emotion.
Yeah. I knew the show was ending. Like, I knew we weren't going to do anything else.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, this is me like, oh, yeah, the taxi driver's gone.
Yeah, we were always like, what else could we add on to his frustration?
So I just take a truck.
They all have the keys right under the tire there as well.
That's how many people do that, too. Like, well, I've earned this for all my years of my trouble. I'll just steal this truck.
There we go. Never really filmed in any of those ranger stations. Just did a lot of guerrilla
Nah,
filmmaking
yeah,
around
it's
them.
just guerrilla filming.
Yeah.
That spot we actually filmed in where we had the ranger meeting, that was, where was that? It's outside Oakwood, right?
Yep. That was a school friend of mine, Aaron Fry. He had a just a building out there in the middle of the woods, and it passed.
It worked. I mean,
Yeah.
it
Had the tables, had everything we needed.
yeah, it worked out really well.
Out there in the pollywogs.
Yeah, that's what it's called. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of somber. It's right here. Rick is fired.
Yep, he's officially gone. And he's like, he knows there's nothing he can do.
You know, it's just like I always go, did he deserve it? But then, like, he did commit
Yeah.
crimes, and
Yeah, he deserved it for sure. Like, that's the whole thing about this. Like, Rick's life is ridiculous, which it wasn't supposed to be that way.
Yeah.
Right?
It wasn't. No.
Yeah, so this is just me. Literally, like, we went down in the basement, and this was actually crazy. This shirt is a shirt I had in high school, and I was like, there's no way I still, like, that's a skateboarding company. Lost End. Like,
We wanted it to be, you know, like Rick hasn't had a new shirt since joining the team, and
right. I was
probably
like,
fresh out of high school.
I remember I put that on, and I was like, there's no way this still fits. And it fit well enough, you know.
So this is it. The big speech.
Yep.
Yeah, there we go. Why you guys still here?
Yeah, why are you still here?
Well, this has been fun.
I've not watched this all the way through in such a long time. Like, this has really been fun.
Next year it'll be 10 years since the start of Park Rangers, and this was a really great time. One of the best times in my life. One of the most funniest. Like, I've never laughed harder than watching you play Rick, and then watching Steven play Abe.
Yeah.
I just could not breathe. That kind of laughter, and yeah, very special time in my life.
Oh, yeah, I remember we came back and did this, yeah.
Yeah, look at that. Try not to cry.
Yeah, you harkened back to this earlier, and we did come back to this spot.
It ends with a tight shirt and a come and go.
Yeah, come and go hat. This is probably one of the most saddest imageries, how we end it with him walking away.
Yeah. Yeah. There it is, just some murky lake.
Yeah, just a small pond. It looks more like when you go to it, it just looks more like one of those like water runoff things.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, that's what it looks like.
Maybe that's what it's become. Yeah. Let's see what Bass has to say. Ooh, that's a big moment right there.
Nobody else has ever touched that pole. Just Bass.
There we go. Leave with some comedy. No.
The only good decision he's ever made.
He's like, I think I've had enough.
Yeah.
I would have taken it if I was him. Well, that's it.
Yep.
The Park Rangers of Chesapeake Valley.
Yeah, this imagery right here, I think, is perfect.
Oh, yeah.
It's the only time Bass ever moves, but he just picks everything up and goes.
Yeah. Well, thanks, Aaron, for sitting down with us.
Oh, man, thanks for the opportunity. I mean, and not only just to sit down with you, but to even do this whole thing.
Yeah.
Like, it was a pretty life-changing for me, this whole event. And then, you know,
Rest in peace, Jesse.
rest in peace, Jesse. I mean, that was one of my best friends. Having been able to share the time with him and then Thor. Fantastic stuff.
Yeah. See you, everybody.